In this country, approximately 50% of the people that get married, about 2 million marriages per year, about 50% of that 2 million get divorced. As it relates to custody statistics, it appears that 75% of all custody disputes go to the mother as the physical custodian. About 10% are designated for the father to become the physical custodian, and the rest basically have a joint custody arrangement to go. And I think that I am Vicki Ziegler. I'm a custody expert and divorce attorney, and I am a partner at the firm of Walder, Hayden, and Brogan. A custody battle is when two parties can't determine which one will have physical custody of a specific child. So ultimately what happens is if the parties can't agree, they both go to counsel and they litigate who will actually have physical custody of the child and who will get parenting time with that specific child. The true definition of custody is when a parent takes care of a child on a day-to-day basis. It's really about decision-making and who has the bulk of the decision-making power on a day-to-day basis for a specific child.
I feel like, do the salad in the bowl.
My husband and I were married 5, going on 6 years. Before we started the divorce process. In the very beginning of my divorce, it was difficult, just the parenting time. My ex-husband is a police officer, and that's where the friction came in, the scheduling parenting time. My name is Ann Varinelli. I am a single mother of twin boys that are age 7. The boys were going to be 2 years old when we were starting our divorce process.
Oh, you see that picture?
It wasn't an issue custody. It was a 50-50 split. They would spend 50% of the time with me, 50% of the time with him. As I said, the parenting schedule was difficult. He's a police officer and he works shift work. So it continually changes. It was very difficult to set down. And to this day, we don't have set days. He and I are able to call each other on the phone and say, okay, I'm working Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I'll take the children Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday.
Many people are arguing over midweek visitation. It's a pretty hotly contested issue in custody battles, and you could see why. Sometimes children have schedules and they have activities and they go out to dinner, and it's really disruptive at times. At least experts tell us it's disruptive when children are going from one parent's home to another and their continuity and their schedule is dismantled in a sense. Generally, states lean towards a joint legal custodial arrangement, which means each party shares the decision-making power on a day-to-day basis for the children. But one parent has to be designated as the physical custodian, the other as the parent of alternate residence.
They were 2. They really don't know any different life. They've never had their dad living in our home together. And I'm not saying that on Christmas morning they'll often come to me or they come to him and say, I wish you and Mommy lived into the same house and under the same roof, because they open their gifts here and they get shipped off there. Because their dad and I don't live together, we parent together. We don't live together, but we are definitely on the same page as far as parenting. And I think that that's why our children are really happy kids.
You have to seek competent counsel. Too often I see people that are hiring non-divorce attorneys to represent them in a custody dispute. Next, you need to really think about hiring a forensic psychologist, somebody that is going to be partial to your side after reviewing all of the facts. The next is really to have a log. You need to make sure that you have a log of every time you see your child, every activity that you have with that child, every doctor's appointment. As mundane as it sounds, it's really the gift, the way to evidence to the court that you are the better parent. For the judge to make an informed and unbiased decision, he has to know what schedule an individual has. Who's there during the day, who's there early in the morning to help the child or children with their shower or their bath. Can you make the food? Can you make lunch? Are you there to pick up the child at the end of the day? What about the activities? Who can drive the child? Children are very smart and astute, and they see unhappy, unhealthy relationships. And I always say, wouldn't you want a child to see you with a partner that's loving, whether you're married or not, in a different structure, versus yelling and screaming and fighting and disrespect. So I think people need to release the guilt that they have from divorcing their spouse, believing that it's going to negatively affect the child, because I think the child's already infected.
My divorce was fairly quickly, probably 8 months. From beginning to end, it was quick. We just had very good attorneys that were able to negotiate and then come back to us with a settlement agreement.
Yes,
And
and so do
we
I.
were able to resolve it fairly quickly. Love your children more than you dislike your spouse. And if you keep that in your mind, you'll succeed.
Stand this way so he can.
Oh yeah.